Hello once again to my channel Chem Science, and in this video we will see some examination tips to solve the MCQ paper, that is multiple choice question paper. So in this video you will learn about what are the important keywords to know when you are solving MCQ papers, what is an elimination method, and while calculating what are the tips you should be taking care of, and then when you are dealing with the organic questions, what you should be taking care of. So let's see what are the keywords we need to find when we are solving the MCQ paper, and this is the first example. Here is our keywords. So let's see an example here. It says which compound contains two different elements with identical oxidation state. Now our first set of keywords is two different elements, and the other keyword is identical oxidation state. So keywords indicates that what are we supposed to find out from the question and what are we supposed to look into our answers. So here when we say that there are two different elements having the identical oxidation state, so we need to look into the oxidation states of the two different elements in each of the compound and then find out the answer. So what are you supposed to work out in this question is that you need to find out the oxidation state of each and every element and get the answer. So what we mean to say here is that with the help of keywords gives you an idea that what exactly you are supposed to look into the answers. Now let's have a look at another example which says which ion has both more electrons than protons and more protons than neutrons. So here the most important keyword is both, where we need to consider two different things, that is electrons more than protons and protons more than neutrons. So here we can work out in the side that electrons should be more than protons and protons should be more than neutrons. So what should be the maximum in our answer should be the number of electrons, and the least in number should be number of neutrons. And to find this, we need to find out the total number of electrons, protons and neutrons in each and every ion, and then after that we can work out this and find out the answer. So now let's see what is an elimination method to find out the answers in MCQs with an example. Here the example says that X and Y are the isotopes of the same element. Which statement is correct? Now in this question we have three keywords, that is X and Y are isotopes of the same element, and from all these statements you have to find out which statement is correct. Now before looking for the answers, what you need to think is that if isotopes is a keyword, what do you know about isotopes? Isotopes, from the definition, we know that what is different in isotopes is different number of neutrons. Rest, everything is same other than neutrons. So we need to take care this particular point about isotopes. Now read the options. The first option says X and Y have atoms with different numbers of electrons shells. Now from the workout, what we have already done here says that only thing different in isotopes is the number of neutrons only. Here it says electron shells are different. Now that shows that this doesn't apply to isotopes. So we are eliminating this option out. Second option says X and Y have atoms with the same nucleon number. Now nucleon number means neutrons plus protons. Now if neutrons are different according to our definition of isotopes, then nucleon number cannot be same. Now as we are looking for the correct option, this option is wrong again and we are eliminating this option again. The third option, C option, says X and Y have atoms with the same number of outer shell electrons. Now, according to our definition, other than neutrons, everything else should be same. So here outer shell electrons should also be same, and as we are looking for the correct option, this may be correct, but we don't know. So what we suggest is that read the remaining option also. Now the option D says X and Y have different chemical properties. Now as again we had decided that only neutrons differ, because of that the chemical properties doesn't differ. So this option is also eliminated out, and that is how you find out the correct answer by eliminating out the wrong answer. So this is what we mean when we say we should be using an elimination method to look for the correct answer. So what I suggest is that never look for the correct option, but look for the wrong option and eliminate that wrong option out to find out the correct answer. At times, you may get confused between two of the options in the given question. So what you need to think is that in that remaining two options, reread the question, consider the keywords again, and then eliminate the third option out and then find out the correct answer. Such an elimination method have a greater chances of giving you an correct option. So that is the reason that we use elimination method for eliminating out the wrong option rather than looking for the correct answer. And my suggestion is that even if we have found out the correct answer, read all the options, look for the wrong answers, eliminate them out, and then only conclude for the correct option and correct answer. And at the end, confirm the correct answer by reconsidering the keywords and then only tick that answer. That is, when you have found out that X and Y have the atoms with the same number of electron shell, outer shell electrons, then reconsider the keywords and then confirm that the option you are thinking is really correct or not. So this is how we always try to use the elimination method in MCQs to look for the correct answer. Now let's consider another example for the elimination method. This example says argon is a gas used to fill electric bulbs. Under which conditions of pressure and temperature will argon behave as an ideal gas? Now here are all our options given in a table, and looking at the two keywords, that is conditions. What conditions? Of pressure and temperature. Of what pressure and temperature? Pressure and temperature for behaving as an ideal gas. Now what I suggest in elimination method at times is that suppose if you are told to look for two of the things, two of the conditions, then think stepwise. That is, first think about one of the option, that is pressure, and then think for the next condition, that is temperature. So if we know the conditions for an ideal gas, then for pressure the condition is low pressure. So now if you look at the four options here, you are left for pressure low for C and D only. That shows that option A and option B gets eliminated directly. Now you are left with option C and option D. Now look for the next condition, that is temperature. So for ideal gas, the temperature should be high temperature. Now out of the two options which you were looking for, the temperature high given here is in option C. So that shows that the D gets cancelled off and you get the correct answer as answer C. So this way, elimination method of wrong options and then looking for the answer stepwise may have a greater chances of giving you a correct conditions, correct answers. So try using elimination method in most of the MCQs to reach the correct option. Now let's see with an example that while calculating, what tips should be taken care for MCQs. Example here says that 0.1 gram of volatile liquid X formed 0.25 dm cube of vapor at 100 degrees and atmospheric pressure. Now I'm not pointing out the keywords here because now you know how to find out the keywords. So let's directly work out that what are you supposed to find out in the option. Next here, the question continues and says that 1 mole of vapor occupies 22.4 dm cube at 0 degrees and atmospheric pressure. What is the relative molecular mass of X? So what are you supposed to find out is the relative molecular mass. And what are the data given to find out the relative molecular mass? Is mass of the liquid X, volume of the vapor of the same liquid, the temperature, and the pressure is atmospheric pressure. So that shows that we need to apply a formula. Suppose for ideal gas, now here what is the formula? PV is equal to nRT. But now as we don't have the moles N, so in place of that we are given mass, which can be written as M upon MR for the moles. So now we are supposed to find out MR if we take to the numerator, then what are we left with is mass into RT upon P and V. Now looking at the formula, it shows that mass should be in the numerator, temperature should be in the numerator. Now let's have a look at the options. But before that, again consider that mass is 0.10 gram, which should be in the numerator. Now if we look at all the options, 0.10 is in the numerator in only C and D. That shows that the option A and option B gets eliminated out. Now out of this C and D, now look for the next step, that is mass is done. Temperature here is 100 degrees Celsius. Now if you need to change it to Kelvin, because according to the formula the temperature should be in Kelvin. So Kelvin, it is 373 Kelvin, now which should be on the top. So that shows that temperature 373 Kelvin should be in the numerator. Now if you look at the option C and D, C have 273 in the numerator, but we need 373 Kelvin in the numerator. So again your option C gets eliminated out and left with the option D, that is mass 0.10 gram in the numerator, temperature 373 Kelvin again in the numerator, and according to the formula volume should be in the denominator. So here the volume 0.025 should be in the denominator as in the option D. So then yes, we can conclude and confirm that option D is the correct option. So from this example we can also learn that in the numericals also we don't need to always calculate the answer from the options without calculating, but eliminating out the wrong method, the wrong option, and then looking at the keywords again and find out the answer, it becomes easy to look for the correct option. Now here is one more example that what should be taken care while calculating. So here the option says what is the volume of a steam produced when 1 gram of ice is heated to 323 degrees Celsius at a pressure of 101 kilopascal. Now volume is what you are supposed to find out. And for such a given data, we know that for any given gas, we need to apply the formula PV is equal to nRT, and out of which we are supposed to find out the volume. So volume, we can again reform the formula as shown here. So we can directly substitute all the values here in the formula to find out the volume. But then what I suggest is that check all the units before you substitute the values. That is, the temperature is given in degrees Celsius, which needs to be converted into Kelvin. The pressure is given in kilopascals, which needs to be converted into pascals. So, and the volume calculated, which according to the formula should be in the meter cube, but our answers are given in dm cube. So, when you substitute all these values in the formula, you need to check all the units first and then calculate the correct option. Now, let's see one more tip for solving MCQ, that is, what is when we have multiple answers. Suppose here the example says which statement about isotopes of the same element are correct. So you are looking for the correct option and we are talking about isotopes. Now as we have discussed earlier that for isotopes, what is same is everything else other than neutrons. That is neutrons only are different. Rest everything is same. So now start looking for the options given is A, 1, 2 and 3 and then you have to look for the correct option out of the ABC. Now this may have a multiple correct answers because you have option 1 and 2, 1 and 3, only 2 and only 3. So first let's read the options 1, 2 and 3, that is they are the atoms which have the same chemical properties because they have same number of electrons in their outer shell. Now as we have already seen that other than neutrons everything else is same. So here our electrons should also be same and so obviously the chemical properties is also going to be the same. So option 1 is correct. Now from this option 1 correct, we can make out then if option C and D doesn't have option 1, then that gets eliminated out. Now out of option A and B, now you are supposed to read 2 and 3 to find out your correct option of A and B. So let's look at the option 2 and 3, which says they are the atoms which have the same number of electrons and neutrons. Now here we had already discussed that neutrons are different. So B gets, that is option 2 gets wrong. So here option 2 gets wrong and so A also gets eliminated out. Still, you have option 1 and 3 and I as have suggested earlier that we need to read all the options even if we have got the correct answer. So still, let's read the option 3 to confirm our answer. It says that they are the atoms which have same number of electrons and protons but different number of neutrons. And so yes, option 1 and option 3 are correct. And because of that, our option B is correct. Now let's see how to deal with the organic questions. Now we know that the organic part of the chemistry have lots of structures. So let's learn that with the help of an example that what we need to take care when we are solving the organic questions. The first example says a section showing 2 repeat units of an addition polymer is shown. So that shows that we have 2 repeat units here. So out of this 2 repeat unit, let's first make out the 1 repeat unit. This is 1 repeat unit and this is the second repeat unit, as we can make out that this is repeated as same. Now the further question is, which is the identity of monomer that produce this polymer? So what are we supposed to find out is the monomer. So identity of monomer is our keyword. But as we have lots of options here, so what I suggest is that let's look at the monomer first, find out the name of the monomer, because here what we have got in the option is the names. But to find out the name of the monomer, we need to first make the monomer of the repeat unit. Now as we know as that the repeat unit have only 2 carbons, so it's an addition polymer already given in the question. So to make the monomer of this polymer, we need to work out the structure, and what I'm drawing is that these 2 carbon. These 2 carbon are shown here with CH3, Cl, again CH3 and again CH3 here. Now out of this, if we make out the longest chain, then it can be this one. So let's make the longest chain first, that is CH3, C double bond C and CH3. Now on the second carbon atom, we have a branch of CH3 here, and on the third carbon we have chlorine. Now if we name this, it is chlorine on the second carbon or on the third carbon. But if you look at the options, we have chloro always at the second position. So let chloro be at the second position. So if we name it, it is 2-chloro and then methyl group also. But if you look at the option, then we don't have a dichloro. So option D gets eliminated out. Now out of this, one more thing we can make out is that we have a longest chain of 4 carbon. But option C have an pentene in the option. Pentene means 5 carbon, which is not there in our answer. So option C also gets eliminated out. Now make out the full name. 2-chloro. We have methyl group on the third carbon. So 3-methyl, and then we have butane with double bond on the second carbon. So we can write as but2in. So because of that, this butane also gets cancelled off, that is eliminated, and you are left with option B as the correct option. Now again confirm this with the structure, with the name, and what is the question is identity of monomer. Again, to make a monomer, we need to make the structure of the monomer as we have done here from the polymer chain, and then find out the name and then look for the correct option. So if we confirm everything again, yes, our option is B. So what I would always suggest in the organic questions is that always work out the structure of the organic parts or the compounds given in the question and then only look for the answer. Let's have another example for the same, that is dealing with the organic questions. It says structural isomerism and stereoisomerism should be considered in answering the question. So you are supposed to consider 2 types of isomers in this question. Let's read it further. It says compound J is reacted with KOH, that is potassium hydroxide dissolved in ethanol. 3 isomeric alkenes with the molecular formula C4H8 are formed. Then what is J? So you are supposed to find out the structure of J. Now let's again reread the question. What it says is compound J is reacted with potassium hydroxide. So let's work out. J is reacted with potassium hydroxide. Now it says that 3 isomeric alkenes with the molecular formula C4H8 are formed. So here you have got C4H8 as the product. Now it says 3 isomeric alkenes. So alkene is this butene, and you need to first work out the structure of the 3 isomers of butene which is obtained as a product. So again, as I had suggested, you need to work out first the structures of the compound butene, all the 3 isomeric, that is the structural isomer also and stereoisomer also. Then from it, reverse, find out the structure of J. Now you can always work out the structure of butene with all the 3 isomeric isomers, that is the structure can have a double bond at the second carbon atom or can have a double bond at the first carbon atom, or it may have a branch somewhere here. So you work out the 3 isomers of alkenes, and in the reverse way for all these 3 you can find out one common structure of J. I'm not working out the structure here because it's going to be very, very long, but I hope you would have understood my key point that when we are dealing with the organic question, we definitely need to work out the structures of the compounds which are asked in the question Otherwise, just making a structure in the mind and trying to find out the answers will going to definitely lead to the wrong answer. So I always suggest that even if you have got an idea for the answers, work out the structure. Eliminate out the wrong options. Look for the correct answer at the end, but concluding the correct answer, you need to again look to some of the keywords of the question and then finalize the correct option. So I hope you would have found this video quite helpful to solve the MCQs paper, because we find MCQs paper at IGCSE level also and at AS level also. These tips are useful at both the levels and in the other boards also. So following all the examination tips given here might be very helpful to you. And definitely at the end, I would say that if you had liked my video and have found it useful, don't forget to like and subscribe it, add comments in the comment box, and don't forget to subscribe and ring the bell if you haven't done it yet to get the regular updates.